I got home a little after 7. Garage opened. My truck clicked into its spot. The house was quiet, TV on low in the living room, some show with canned laughter. Kitchen lights were on, counter clean, stove cold. Emily sat curled on the end of the couch with her phone, thumb flicking. She didn't look up. Again, no dinner? I asked from the doorway, keeping it even. She made a noise that could pass for yes, could pass for leave me alone. Okay, we can still do a late bite. I tried. There's that place on Ridge. We can be in and out in 40. Not hungry, she said. Phone still up. I'm going to bed. Long day. She stood, brushed past me like I was a coat rack, and went down the hall. Bedroom door closed. Laugh track kept laughing. I stood in our kitchen and stared at the dark stove. I've worked jobs where people curse your name on a headset and slam the door in your face. It's still easier than trying to guess if your wife is mad that you exist or just bored of the effort. I made eggs in silence, ate standing over the sink, and told myself this was a phase. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have saved the eggs and started packing. The next night, I put a bottle of her favorite wine on the table and cooked salmon. She came in late, shoes in her hand, glanced at the plates like they were junk mail. Smells rich, she said. I'm trying not to eat heavy at night. It's salmon, not concrete. I said I'm not hungry. She moved past me into the bedroom. The door didn't slam. It just clicked like a lock finding home. I waited. 10 minutes. I took her plate, wrapped it, and put it in the fridge. I ate mine and tasted nothing. After dinner, I stood in the hallway outside our room and knocked. What? She called. Talk for a minute? Tomorrow, she said. I need sleep. Tomorrow came with another silence. She stopped kissing me goodbye in the morning. She stopped answering texts during the day. If I asked a simple question at night, how was your meeting? She shrugged and scrolled. If I touched her shoulder, she moved sideways like I spilled something. I offered a weekend away. She said she couldn't take off work. I said it was the weekend. She said I was being pushy. You're smothering, she told me one night, eyes on her phone. Just back off. I'm married to you. I replied, leaning against the doorframe. Not stalking you. Same difference the way you're acting. By making dinner and asking how you are. You're not listening, she shot back. I need space. You got a whole zip code of it in this house, I said. I asked for 15 minutes. That tone, she said, finally looking up. Right there. That's why I don't want to talk. Noted. I walked out to the garage and finished folding the camping chairs we never used. I put time into trying. Flowers on a Wednesday, small note on her pillow, tickets to a show she said she liked last year. She let the flowers die in their plastic sleeve on the counter. The note stayed unopened on the nightstand. I sold the tickets to a neighbor's kid for half price. I kept my voice level and my moves simple. One more week of me doing all the lifting by myself. Then I changed the schedule. The first change was money. I moved our joint card to a lower limit and set a fixed household budget. I sent her a short email. Bills covered. Groceries covered. Anything extra, let me know first. I left it at that. She found me in the garage that evening, the email open on her screen. You did this without asking, she said. Correct. Why? Because I'm done doing unlimited access with zero effort, I replied. You want something past bills and groceries, we talk. Otherwise, no. That's controlling. No. That's adult. I wiped my hands on a rag. If you want more, I need more. I'm not guessing anymore. She stared, lips pressed. Fine, she said, suddenly sweet. I can cook tonight. I glanced at the stove. Okay. She made pasta. It was decent. She poured me a glass of wine and put a hand on my back like nothing ever happened. It was the first time she'd touched me in days. I'm sorry I've been off, she said, stirring sauce. Work's been rough. Thanks for saying that, I answered. Tomorrow we can do that place on Ridge, she added, very casual. That works, I said, and I meant it in the specific way adults mean things. Sure, if the action matches the sentence. I cleaned the dishes without making it a flag. We ate at the table. She asked about my day. I told her. It felt almost normal. It lasted 48 hours. On the third day, I came home to an empty house and a note. Going out with girls. Don't wait up. The pasta pot was still soaking in the sink. The budget email was still opened on her phone, face down on the coffee table. The girls were not our shared friends. They were the undefined category she used when she didn't want me to ask. I sat on the patio with a beer and looked at the wood fence I'd stained last summer. I decided something simple. I was done chasing ambience. I was done playing friendly husband to a closed door. At work the next morning, Mark from the warehouse let out a low whistle when I walked past the break room. "Man, you look like you slept in a chair." "Close," I told him, grabbing coffee. Mark's divorced, 2 kids, a guy who's honest to a fault. He doesn't do sympathy, he does common sense. He glanced at my cup. "You good?" "I'll live," I said, changing a few things at home. "Like what?" "Less availability. More clarity." I took my coffee. "You ever notice how people respect your time when you stop giving it away?" He snorted. "They respect your time when you show a lock." Exactly. I set a second boundary that afternoon. I canceled the couple's dinner we had this weekend with her coworker and his wife. Sent them a polite message. "Can't make it. Rescheduling. Appreciate your understanding." I copied Emily, so she saw it wasn't a surprise. She replied with one word. "Why?" I sent one back. "Not in the mood." She wrote, "We already said yes." I wrote, "We're saying no now." That night, she came home early with a bag of groceries and a bright smile. She put her phone away when I walked in. "I grabbed steaks," she said. "Your favorite cut. How about we grill? We can talk." "Sounds fine," I said, pulling plates from the cabinet. "Also," she went on, "I've been thinking. Let's take that weekend away. I need fresh air." "You were right." I met her eyes. "Okay. You pick the town, I'll book the hotel." She blinked a fraction too long. "Maybe next month," she said. "This week is insane. But we should plan." "Send me dates," I answered. She didn't send anything. The steaks were good. We ate, and she laughed at a story from my shop like she enjoyed me. An hour later, her phone lit up. She turned it face down. "Who's that?" I asked, not unkind. "Just a friend," she said. Hard to argue with the name friend. Never loses in court. We put the plates in the sink and the house went quiet in that way where both people are waiting for the other to blink. 2 weeks later, it was her birthday. I booked a caterer, set up tables in the backyard, strung soft lights along the fence. Our house filled with people, neighbors, her colleagues, a couple of cousins, and her friend group, including a woman I'd only met twice. Kara. Tall, dark blonde hair, a wry smile that looked like it had seen things and didn't apologize for it. Kara and Emily had known each other from a yoga studio years back, lost touch, then reconnected. At least, that's what Emily said when the invite went out. Kara showed up with a simple cake box and a bottle of something. She hugged Emily, then stepped back and hugged me too, quick, polite. "Happy wife, happy life," she joked. I smiled without committing. "Working on it." The backyard hummed with small talk and clinked glasses. I moved between groups, keeping the food going and the music low. I made sure Emily had everything she wanted. She wore a new dress, looked like a magazine ad, and kept her phone in her hand like a security blanket. Every time I walked past, she was glancing down. Around 9, I wrapped my arms around her shoulders from the side, friendly, light, not a claim, just a husband being a husband at his wife's party. She stiffened for a second. I let go and stepped in front of her. "You good?" I asked. "Fine," she said, her eyes flicking toward a little circle of women behind her. "We should dance," I said, nodding toward the part of the lawn we'd cleared. "One song. It's your night." "Later," she said. "Maybe now," I replied. Although honestly, at least today, give me one dance. She exhaled through her nose, impatient, then raised her voice just enough. "I don't owe you anything. Go dance with someone else." She didn't say it loud, but she said it in that precise way where 10 people hear and the rest pretend not to. A neighbor looked down into his cup. "Mark?" "Yes, I'd invited my warehouse guys. Those guys show up and they're cheap entertainment," froze by the grill. Kara, across the patio, blinked once and lowered her glass. I swallowed whatever heat climbed up my throat. "Got it," I said. Not a threat, not a plea, just a fact. I looked at the lights I'd hung and felt stupid for nailing them so straight. I walked through the kitchen, out the side door, and onto the dark strip of lawn where the trash cans live. It smelled like cut grass and charcoal. I stood there and counted 3 slow breaths like I was timing a machine. The door creaked. Kara stepped out, closed it behind her with care, and leaned on the railing. "You okay?" she asked. "I'm not bleeding," I said. "So I guess yes." "That was unnecessary," she said. "Accurate," I answered. It's fine. It's her show. No, Kara said. It's your backyard. Your lights. Your food. She didn't have to do that. I shrugged. It's been like this for a bit. Kara kept her voice low. She's barely talked to me in months. I'm genuinely surprised I'm here. She looked back through the window. This crowd? Half of them don't even know her last name. I do, I said. For now. We stood for a second in the dark. I took in her face without making it a thing. She had that no-nonsense calm I respect. People who don't fill silence because they can't stand their own thoughts. If you want to get out of here, she said, half smile. I know a diner 10 minutes away. Good coffee. Terrible pie. It's better than being someone's prop. I glanced at the window again. Emily was laughing at something a guy was saying near the bar. Not me. Let me kill the patio heaters, I said. Don't, Kara said. It's her night. Leave things warm. I made a decision and didn't turn it into a speech. I walked back in, told Mark to keep an eye on the grill, told my cousin to make sure the music didn't die, and texted Emily, stepping out. Back later. Enjoy. She didn't respond. Kara and I left through the side gate. No drama. Just two people walking to a car. The diner was bright enough to clean a boat. We sat in a corner booth and ordered coffee. No pie. So, Kara said, what happened between you two? I'd love to know, I replied. She pulled away like I insulted her family. Only I didn't. She's been different, Kara said. Even with me. Kind of cool. Like she's testing what she can get. Tests are fine if the grade matters, I said. Lately, the grade is praise. Kara watched me. You still in it? I'm in it enough to be here, I said. But I'm not running around begging for points. Good, she said. Because you shouldn't. We talked. Not a dramatic soul-bearing. Just clean facts. I told her about the budget change, the cancellation, the way Emily would swing sweet for 2 days and then ice me out. Kara told me about her job at the clinic, her parents in Ohio, the house she bought last year because she was tired of rent. She asked straight questions and listened to the answers. The coffee tasted like honesty. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. It was midnight when we realized we'd been there 3 hours. We paid and walked out to the parking lot. Thank you, I said. You're welcome, she answered. I meant it. You didn't need to stand there and be treated like furniture. I laughed once. I did make the furniture. Then let them sit on it, she said. You can sit somewhere else. She looked down at her keys, then up at me. Want to drive down to the lake? The pier's empty this time. That sounds like a date, I said. She tilted her head. It sounds like getting air. Lead the way. We drove to the water. The pier was empty. We walked to the end and stood looking at black waves hitting wood. No speeches. No vows. Just two people who were not where the party expected them to be. You ever think you missed the obvious? I asked. Every Tuesday, she said. Tonight feels pretty obvious, though. What's that? You want respect, she said. It's not complicated, isn't it? I asked. No, she looked at me fully. You either have it or you leave. We stood there until a breeze raised goosebumps on our forearms. She shivered slightly. I gave her my jacket. She wore it like it fit. When I dropped her off, she put a hand on my arm. You can call me, she said. If you need a break from all that. I don't need a break, I said. I need a standard. Then set it, she answered. I slept on the couch that night. Not out of punishment. Out of preference. The days after that shifted. I didn't announce a grand plan. I just changed the pattern. I left for work early, came home late. I ate out more, hit the gym after shifts, and when I came back, I didn't hunt her down for conversation like a puppy looking for a treat. The budget stayed tight. I moved my personal direct deposit to my own account entirely and left the minimum in the joint. I added a small safe to the garage and kept my passport and title there. No threats, just logistics. Kara and I started meeting after work. It was meant to be a neutral stop, coffee, a walk, sometimes a quick dinner at a low-key place where nobody knows your anniversary. It became a routine. She never asked about Emily past what I volunteered. She didn't try to play detective. She asked if I wanted another soda or if I'd rather walk the longer path and told me about a patient's cranky cat. She had this way of hearing me without fixing me, and I respected that more than I let on. At home, Emily began to notice. Where were you last night? She asked from the hall as I grabbed a clean shirt. Out, I replied. With who? Friends. What friends? She crossed her arms, very curious now. People you don't know. I answered, not unkind. That's the point. I texted you, she said. I saw, I said. You didn't answer. Right. You're being cruel. No, I said, buttoning the shirt. I'm being consistent. You wanted space. I heard you. That's not what I meant. Then be specific. She stopped, frustrated. You can't disappear. I'm not disappearing, I said. I'm living. If you'd like to schedule time, put it on the calendar. I'll show up. She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried a new strategy. The next night, she made tacos and put on music and laughed at my dumb jokes. She brought up going to the farmer's market Saturday. She said she missed our Sunday drives. I missed a lot too, I said. Put it on the calendar. She rolled her eyes, but she put farmer's market on the fridge. Saturday morning came and she was too tired. I went to the market alone. Ran into Mark, who was buying hot sauce like it was medicine. Look at you, he said. Single man swagger. I'm not single, I said. Your face didn't get the memo. He picked up a jar and looked at me sideways. You keeping this controlled? Working on it, I said. Good, he grunted. Don't get sloppy. I don't do sloppy, I told him. I didn't. I kept the meetings with Kara clean. Food, conversation, walks, care. No lines crossed in a way that would make our story a bad one. But lines crossed in truth, attention, respect, time. That's all intimacy is anyway, and I had been starving. A week after her birthday, Emily tried another soften. She came into the garage while I was cleaning the workbench. I was thinking, she said. We could do a beach day. Just us. I can take Tuesday. Beach is fine, I said. Put it on the calendar. She stepped closer. I miss you, she said, very deliberate, and put her hand on my chest. It was the first time in a long time she'd touched me without flinching. I hear you, I said. Here's what I need. The phone stays in your bag. One day without you texting every 15 minutes. And I'm not begging you to touch me. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, then we enjoy the water and go home. She withdrew her hand. You're being transactional, she said. No, I replied. I'm being clear. Fine, she said. We'll do it your way. Tuesday arrived. An hour before, she called from the office. Emergency. I can't go. Rain check. No problem, I said. I grabbed my keys and drove anyway. I sent no update and owed no apology. I met Kara on the boardwalk after her shift. We ate bad fries and watched pelicans. She told me she wished she'd known me earlier. I said the same. The next weeks were a pattern of Emily's demands with no offer and my rules with no raised voice. She started asking where I was. She started hovering at the kitchen island when I put my wallet away. She started asking who I was texting when my phone buzzed. You can ask, I told her, and I can choose not to answer. That's how questions work. Are you seeing someone? She pressed one night. I'm seeing a lot, I answered. New clarity, new sleep, new standard. Don't do that, she said. Don't talk like a coach. Then behave like a partner, I said. We'll talk like people. She kicked the cabinet closed harder than necessary and stormed off. 10 minutes later, she came back, softer. I can do better, she said. I want to fix this. Show me, I said. Not tonight. Not for 2 days. Sustained. She nodded fast. For the rest of that night, she was all in. Light hands on my arm when she passed, questions about my day, saying she appreciated dinner. The next day, she sent a text at lunch, thinking of you. It was a nice sentence. That night, she slipped off to meet a friend. The day after, silence. The day after that, cold again. The ratio didn't change. Kill turns don't scream. They just make a sound you can't unhear. Mine came 3 weeks after the birthday, a random Thursday morning. I was leaving for work. She leaned in at the door. Try not to be home late, she said. I'm planning something. What's the plan? Just be here, she said, smiling like she'd found her sweet again. I got home at 6. The house smelled like takeout. She'd set the table halfway and left the containers closed. She was on the couch. Phone up. You ready? I asked. I ate earlier, she said. I got hungry. You told me to be here, I said. I said try, she replied. I didn't promise anything. That was it. That was the kill turn for me. Not the party, not the phone face down, not the canceled beach. That tiny sentence, That small shrug while sitting under a roof I paid for on time every month. She wasn't making a mistake. She was training me to accept crumbs so she could hold the loaf. And I don't do tricks for treats. The next morning, I called my lawyer, not to fight, but to file. Clean. Irreversible. After work, I went home at 5, put my keys on the hook, and asked her to sit at the table. She came in with the phone in her hand. "This serious?" she asked. "Serious," I said. I slid an envelope across. "I filed today." Her jaw actually dropped. For once, the phone went screen down without effort. "You did what?" "I filed," I repeated. "I'm not living like this. Here's the list since you like lists. Weeks of cold. Public disrespect at your own party in the yard I built. Empty promises, routine indifference, tests without substance. You made the house a place I'm not invited to. I'm no longer asking for a seat." She stared at the envelope like it might hiss. "That's extreme," she said. "No," I said. "It's simple. You told me I was owed nothing, loudly, to our friends. You've been showing me versions of that every day. I believe you. And I'm done." She blinked fast. Panic crawled around her calm, like an animal looking for a hole. "I can change," she said. "Seriously, I get it now. I crossed a line. I'll do better. I'll be good. Just give me a chance." "I believe you can be good for a week," I said. "Maybe 2. Then the pattern repeats, because the pattern serves you. I'm not auditioning for a part in my own house again." Tears started. I didn't grow larger or smaller. I kept my tone strong and even. "You can stay here while this moves through," I said. "I'm not throwing you out tonight. But start looking for a place. And don't count on staying past paperwork. I'm moving out now because I'm not doing the roommate thing." "Where will you go?" she asked, eyes wide wet. "Not your concern," I said. "I'll send you the schedule for a realtor to list the house when this is done. We'll split it fair." "Please," she whispered. "Don't do this." "You did this," I said. "When you told me to dance with someone else, you made a rule." I listened. I packed 2 duffels, clothes, boots, the essentials. I pulled the small safe from the garage, put it in the truck. I left keys for the contractor's lockbox and took the original set. I walked back in. She stood by the kitchen island like a tourist lost without a map. "I'll be civil," I said. "Keep it the same. Bills handled, no surprises." "But we're done." She reached out and stopped herself. "Can we at least talk tomorrow?" "No," I said. "We said everything tonight." I drove to a motel and sat in the parking lot for 5 minutes. Then I did what I wanted to do since the backyard. I called Kara. She answered on the second ring. "You okay?" "I did it," I said. "Filed. Packed a bag." There was a breath on the line that sounded like relief. "Where are you?" "Heading to nowhere useful," I said. "Do you know a better nowhere?" "My place," she said, no wobble in her voice. "I have a spare room. It's clean. Just come here." "You sure?" "Very." 20 minutes later, she opened her door before I knocked. She stepped forward and hugged me tight, not the polite kind. "I'm proud of you," she said into my shoulder. "You set the standard." "I feel like a fool for waiting this long," I said. "You took your time so you wouldn't regret it," she said. "That's not foolish." I moved into her spare room and slept like a person whose house doesn't hate him. The next morning, she made coffee and slid a mug across with a small smile. "The key's on the hook if you need it," she said. "This is home if you want it to be." We didn't make speeches about what we were. We just started living like 2 people who chose each other. Dinners, walks, quiet TV, reading on the couch. She'd meet me at the door with that look that says you were missed. She'd ask how my day was and listen to the answer, and I did the same. I didn't have to be more than myself to be wanted, and that's something you can't fake. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed every day with Emily's messages. "Can we talk? I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'll fix it, please." I read none of them. I didn't block her because that would create a new game to play. I simply didn't engage. One afternoon, a week into living at Kara's, Emily waited near the employee entrance at my shop. I saw her as I walked out with Mark. "Man," Mark muttered. "You want me to run interference?" "No," I said. "It's time to be clear." She stepped forward, eyes red, makeup soft around the edges. "Please," she said. "Talk to me." I said everything I needed to say, I replied. "I was scared," she said. "I thought if I made you fight for me, it would prove. You told me you owed me nothing." I cut in. "You told me to dance with someone else. I took your advice." "I didn't mean it like that." "I did," I said. I'm dancing elsewhere, Emily. And I owe you nothing. I turned and walked to my truck. Mark climbed in the passenger side without a word. That was clean, he said. Had to be, I answered. He nodded once. You're good. Yeah, I said. For the first time in a long time. From there, the process did what processes do. Papers moved. Dates were set. We sold the house. She took her equity and moved to another city to be near a cousin, according to a mutual friend. I wished her well in my head. Wishing someone well costs nothing. The day the sale closed, Kara and I sat on the floor of a smaller, better house. Ours. Eating takeout off a box. We'd sold her place too, merged the profits, and signed on this one because the porch faced evening light and the kitchen had room for 2 sets of elbows. A month after the final document, I took Kara to the pier where she wore my jacket. I didn't make a speech about healing or destiny. I just told her the truth. You met me when I was losing my home, I said. You made one with me without noise. I want to do this as long as we both feel like this. She smiled and didn't make me fancier than I am. Then do it, she said. I pulled a ring from my pocket. Let's not waste time. She laughed, cried a clean tear, said yes, and hugged me with both arms and all of herself. I didn't need a crowd. I had a standard. Life now is basic, and that's the best kind. I wake up next to someone who doesn't make me guess where I stand. I take my truck to work, run a shop that does good business, come home to a house where the lights are warm the way they should be. Fridays we grill on the back deck. Saturdays we walk the dog we adopted from the shelter. Sundays we drive nowhere in particular. Kara meets me at the door like I've been gone a week, even if I only ran to the store. We talk or we don't. Neither of us keeps score. I don't hear from Emily anymore. After that day outside my shop, she stopped. Messages went quiet. No sudden midnight calls, no drama. She moved, I'm told. Found a smaller place. Got a new job with a longer commute. She's fine. She's not my subject. People expect fireworks when a man finally draws a line. They think it's doors slamming and plates breaking. Here's the secret. The loud part is pretending you're okay. The quiet part is leaving. Everything I do now is a full sentence. I don't chase. I don't persuade. I choose. And when I hear that music in a backyard somewhere or see a couple on a deck arguing with their eyes, I know exactly what I'd say to the man if he asked me what I learned. If someone looks you in the face at your house, on your lawn, at your table, and says they owe you nothing,